Hey crew, I've got the key to this VW id.buzz, and today we're going to see what it's like to live with. I'm going to start by unplugging it from where I had it charging up overnight, and via level 2 outlet, it'll take about 8 hours to top up this battery. Now let's look at spacing in my driveway, which is 16 feet wide by 19.5 feet long. I've got the id.buzz parked at a slight angle with the front tire a few inches away from the edge, sitting next to another van. This is the 25 Kia Carnival that my wife is reviewing. If you want to check out her content, it's at Mobile Mama on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. That one is also a few inches from the edge. With this spacing, and by the way, the door mirrors of the id.buzz do fold in when it's locked, you can easily walk between the vans and get a wagon through, but not a double wide stroller for my kiddos. The nose of the id.buzz is just before the gutter at the front of my driveway, and at the back, there is just enough room to walk in front of the hedge along the path to my front door. With the key fob on me, just approaching the vehicle will unlock all the doors. So I can open this one up, and this spacing is actually pretty close to what you'd find in a parking lot. So let me show you one defined notch of opening, and let's try for two. Can't quite make it before touching the Carnival. So this means on my way in, I do need to turn my body slightly before using that lower step to ease into the cabin. Hello cabin crew, hello id.buzz. Thanks for joining for this day in the life in the 25 id.buzz all-wheel drive. In this video, I want to see if Volkswagen's reborn, now all-electric van has any of the charm of its ancestor when it comes to daily life. Let's start by turning it on. And there is an ignition button here on the steering column, but you don't need to use that. You can just put your foot on the brake, which has a pause symbol on it. And now the vehicle is ready to drive. Now, of course, it being an EV, it doesn't make any noise apart from those chimes. So unlike its predecessor, which would start with a clattering 4-cylinder, you, silent, will not disturb any of your neighbors. Before I do get out of here though, let me show you where I would stick the items I bring with me every day, like my smartphone, which can go on this wireless charging pad and it holds the phone securely there. There are a couple of USB-C ports with it. My wallet could go in the door pocket alongside my sunglasses because there wasn't another spot, no cubby for these with felt lining or something up top. But I could also put it here inside the top of the center console. And this has individual posts that you can move to make room for bigger items like my 32-ounce metal water bottle that sits nicely up top. And these things are cool. This one's an ice scraper and this one has a bottle opener on it. And then the key fob, there's actually a home for that just to the left of the steering column. And my GoPro accessories, they fit in front of the passenger. So the storage space inside this van is just terrific. After I put on my belts, I can turn the gear selector forward into drive. And let me show you that while I do have curb ramps to help with the gutter clearance at the front of my driveway, that is not going to be an issue for the id.buzz at all. And I'm easily going to make it past my neighbor's 2 basketball hoops on my way out. As I am slowly progressing out of my neighborhood, let me just point a couple things out. First of all, the range estimate is 240 miles with 99% charge. We'll have to see if that's optimistic as this video goes on because the EPA rates the all-wheel drive version of the Buzz at 231 miles of range. Either way, that window is what you can expect with a full charge. And also, I pulled off my jacket already because I was getting a little warm, but you do have seat heating and seat ventilation to choose from, along with a lumbar massage that I've now triggered on and is really just getting me in the right mood to start this day. Oh, and I'm already in love with this driving position. I've got my left arm perched up here comfortably on some leatherette padding. My right is supported on this adjusting armrest. The seat is plush, got that massage going, and I have this feeling of space. Headroom is a ton above. The windshield is an eternity away with all this dashboard in between. It's very relaxing to drive this van, and I can just have a couple fingers on this steering wheel to direct it with ease. The acceleration is just right in comfort mode. It's efficient, but it's not over-eager. Of course, it's instantly delivered, this being an electric powertrain. And we've got 335 horsepower and 413 pound-feet of torque. So getting moving is not an issue. There's also an eco drive mode, if you want to kill the throttle response. And that's actually even more relaxing. Or you can go the other direction and put it in sport for some additional perkiness, although if you need to stop for the lights, I'm using those friction brakes and they bring me down to a stop in a gradual manner. I like that. There's not a weird handoff between friction and regen braking, although of course, right now with it not being in that full regen brake setting, there isn't a lot of that regen braking. If I did go into the B mode, then as I accelerate here, gotta beat this expedition. There we go. When I take my foot off the throttle, there is quite a bit of initial slowing that happens. It is really a one-pedal driving experience. A couple other early observations driving this around. You become an absolute celebrity, more so than even in a supercar, because a supercar is primarily interesting to enthusiasts. This van is captivating to everyone. I can pretty much guarantee if I pull up at any stoplight, looking left or right, as long as someone's paying attention, they are checking out this van. I know some of that attention is owed to the fact that this thing is so new. Not many people have seen them out and about. But if you are shy, you may not want to be an early adopter for fear of all the attention. Other things I've noticed, the ride compliance is solid. I feel the road in through to my seats, but not in any sort of abrupt or harsh way. I just kind of bob. I don't get hit. Here's an interesting observation. If you're the first person at a stoplight, you may not be able to see that light because of where the roofline comes to and where the front-facing sensors are positioned and this rear view mirror. I can't see that light position over there. If there wasn't this one off to the left, I wouldn't know when the light goes green. I only know because I can see that one over there right now. And for some other daily driving interactions, the turn signal sound is an interesting tune. I think it sounds like a drop of water heard from deep in a well. I kind of like it. Now let's test the turning circle. Wheel is fully cranked here, and the Buzz gets around in a pretty small area. It's not a revelation among vans, doesn't move the chains forward, but I could be happy with that. Now let's just say someone is driving recklessly on the road, deserving of a horn beep. What are they gonna hear when you use yours? It's so bright and cheery. I mean, it figures it's a Volkswagen bus, but I don't think that person is going to correct their behavior. They'll just think you're saying hi. Hello. It's time for my morning cup of coffee, so I'm gonna stop in here at Enchanted Coffee. All right, there we go. Decaf latte for me, as usual, and a regular calf for my lovely bride. As I open up this door, just like in my driveway, I can't go two defined notches of opening, just one, but also like in my driveway, I can scooch on in here easily. Now, where are these gonna go? Because they can't go in the door, not here in the center console. That's right, I've got cup holders that deploy from in the center, and they hold on to those coffees snugly so I can drive as I want to, not worry about them spilling. All right, the coffee has been delivered to Mobile Mama, and now it's time to see how this Buzz honors its lineage as a surfer van. To make room for my 9-foot surfboard to fit inside the Buzz, I need to make some changes to this cabin. Well, first off, I have to pull out this double stroller that we left inside. And now I can choose to fold down the second row to make for a flat floor with the third row and the shelf. That's accomplished by pulling on these levers on the side and clicking the seats all the way down. That does leave a gap between the second and third row. Won't be an issue for the surfboard, of course, but if you wanted to take a nap in the Buzz, maybe between surfing sessions, you would need to bring some sort of pad to bridge the gap because, well, your butt would fall right in. Then after reclining the front seat and removing the headrest, oh, you can't take this thing off. Oh well, I guess I'll just put a towel over the top of the seat. Then I'll slide the board over the top of the passenger seat until it clears the tailgate. All right, now, though I have sacrificed 3 of the Buzz's 6 seats, I could return the second row and the third row on the left side up, so I could carry 2 other passengers along with me. And this setup is also cool because I can store my other surfing gear in these pull-out drawers underneath the shelf. However, if you do need to bring just one more passenger with you, there is another way to arrange this cabin. Let's start by removing these two drawers and uninstalling the shelf unit by unscrewing the black bars on both ends. Simple enough. Now I'm going to remove this third row by pulling on the tab, lifting up, and sliding out. And these things are not light. Yeah, it's a commitment. Now you can see we've created an alley for a surfboard to go, but there's one more obstacle in the way. That would be this console, and it would be a problem if you couldn't remove it. Press on this button and pull it on out. And after quite a bit of legwork, I admit, there is a home for at least 1, 2, maybe 3 surfboards if you take off the fins, right down the center with seating for 4. And these cool drawers don't have to go to waste. You can just throw them inside the cabin. Man, the modularity and utility of this vehicle are so cool. There is one thing I didn't show you though. After about 15 minutes of all the doors being open, the Buzz freaked out. It was chiming and dinging really loudly, and I was getting red alerts on this and that display. It was only after I pressed the brake pedal to turn the vehicle on did they finally go away. And of course, those things would never have happened in the old bus. Now, I don't know about you, but I'm awfully curious how quick this all-wheel drive, all-electric Buzz will get to 60. So I've got my race box set up here to record. I'm going into the sport drive mode, and at the staging of this light, pause for a second, full acceleration, there goes the board, and here goes the Buzz. Rushing to 60 in 5.3 seconds. That is a whole lot quicker than the old bus. And now moving on to passing power in the mid-range for changing lanes. It's got some dig in the middle. Can easily pick up the pace and shuttle over to the lane you want to get in. And when you find yourself in the right spot, you can go out of sport, maybe back to eco or comfort. And I'm going to quiet up for a moment and listen to the cabin volume at these speeds. All right, so I hear outside traffic, I hear wind noise. This is not an aerodynamic shape. Not a whole lot of road noise though, so I don't think I'd have to shout all that much to have a short dialogue with people in the second row. Third row, yeah, I'm raising my voice, but this is a decently well-insulated cabin. Lovely. We've got some traffic and some debris in the road. Does the Buzz have anything to make a commute a little more enjoyable? Well, I've got some driving assist modes here. When you configure that, it's not full hands-free driving, but I'm going to take my hands off the wheel just for a moment to demonstrate how it'll stay in the center of the lane. And of course, it means with adaptive cruise, I don't have to go to the throttle or brake to maintain a following distance to the vehicle in front of me. It's doing a great job with that jog left and right in the lane, staying in the center and actually not asking for me to put my hands back on the wheel quite yet. There we go. So for a longer road trip at a higher speed with your hands on the wheel, it's going to reduce some fatigue, but especially at low speeds in a traffic jam situation, that is what would make a drive to work much more relaxing. And on that commute or that road trip, you will likely be listening to music or a podcast and therefore accessing the wireless Apple CarPlay or Android Auto system. So I've got that queued up here. And this screen, by the way, has been super responsive and I like the layout, crystal clear graphics. I just wish it had a physical volume knob or climate control, so you do have to use those in the touchscreen or with these touch icons underneath. Anyway, let me get the sound going. And I'm going to use the slider to increase the volume imprecisely to about maybe 70%. That's a good system. I'm really impressed with that. I don't always love Harman Kardon sound systems, but at least in this application, maybe it's the shape of this cabin, it is terrific. It's enveloping. The clarity was there. It had some nice punch from the bass. Range was terrific. That is going to keep you happy on whatever length of a journey you are driving. And my journey is now complete because I've arrived here at my surfing spot. Man, when you're parked close to other people, you are grateful for sliding doors. No chances of door dings easy to access stuff inside the cabin here. Struggled my way into my wetsuit as usual, but I pulled it off. Now, let's go surfing. Well, nothing really big out there in the middle of the day, but I expected as much. That's why I brought the longboard, because it can catch all the little stuff just inside the jetty. And really just being out in the water, taking deep breaths of that salt air, giving me a chance to pray, just be grateful. It was awesome.
There's a Volkswagen dealer by my job.
Yeah.
And they have an orange one and a blue one, but you know, you're driving, babe, it's beautiful. Is it electric too?
It's all electric, yeah.
Shut up! I'm going around. I know you were changing your.
No, you're good. You're good.
Your beach skin, but I know your video's gonna be awesome, and you'll remember this later. Be like,
I will.
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
Yeah.
And good for you being able to review cars.
Thank you. I wasn't kidding. People go a little nuts for this thing, and I'm gonna go a little nuts if I don't get some food. So I'm gonna stop in here at this taqueria and get some fish tacos. And as I'm parking this bad boy, I'm very thankful for all these useful camera angles, including the front-facing one and the overhead view, so I can get into this parking space as cleanly as possible. And we've got those parking sensors for proximity, so I don't have an incident. I have no complaints with how today is going. The beach was lovely, but I was starting to feel a little bit lonely without my partner in crime.
Thank you.
Mobile Mama.
Yeah.
Hello.
Oh, you didn't invite me to the beach, though.
I didn't. Did not. I don't think you would have had fun.
Why would I not have
I
fun?
was
love
surfing.
the beach.
I was surfing.
Trying to surf.
No, I was doing just fine. Oh, you were, yeah. So Christina, in her former life, tried to surf in Santa Barbara. It was just a different time. Present time. id.buzz. What's the buzz about? What are your thoughts?
I like all this leg room.
Yeah, the second row legroom is awesome.
That's great. I do wish these came out a little further for us taller folk.
Thigh support isn't the best, agreed.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's got some great slide.
Amazing slide.
That's good.
It's gonna make the third row passengers very happy.
Yes. And how's the recline? Oh, that's it.
That's average. I
There we
feel
go.
like for this van, you should be able to take a nap in the second row. And you can't. And these seats don't go back far enough, so it's just not a napping van. And that's just not
man.
it's not the vibe of the VW bus. You do have that third zone of climate above your head.
That's nice.
And when we close these doors, we find seat heating controls and USB-C ports here. And
Oh, but if your phone is attached to here and it's in here,
yes.
that's a problem. I would just leave
Oh,
it in
because
the
then
door.
when the door opened, it would just be
Yeah.
like, ha, ejecting the phone. That's
just
true.
leave it in the door.
What's another observation when the doors are closed, though?
It's dark.
It's very dark
Sí,
back
muy
here.
oscuro. Muy oscuro.
Yes. Yes.
threw you off with
No,
that.
I wasn't seeing that coming.
Necesitamos luz.
Thank you.
Necesitamos la ventana
Yes.
aquí.
Yes. Spanish. Spanish. I do think the glass roof that's optional
Sí.
should be standard
Sí.
for $70,500. Are you done? Are
Sí.
you done? You can be done. $70,500. Why is the glass roof not standard?
Yo no sé.
Okay, or at least having the front sunroof be standard or
Sí,
something. Why is that
claro,
not here?
Claro.
Anyway,
Lástima.
I like that there's padding for your arm to go, and I also
Yo
like
también.
that you've got these windows here.
Wow.
Just gonna keep that
qué
going.
guay.
I know windows are in minivans. I get that, but oh, is there a 4-zone climate? I said 3-zone. There's a 4-zone climate. Just noticed that.
Smokes. She's back to
She
English.
is way too excited.
It's thrilling.
Exactly, it's exciting.
Okay.
Oh, also, you've got storage here for that
snacks.
console, and if you wanted to move that whole area, I mean, I showed how you take it out, but you can move that to this spot right
Whoa.
here in between first and second row, or to the
Whoa.
third row between second and third row. Isn't that
I like
great?
the versatility.
Yeah, it's great. Let's check out the third row. It's possible to get the Buzz with the bench seat.
Yes.
And in that situation, the only way to the back would be to pull this lever. But with the captain's chairs, you can just walk in between the armrests. We're going to do the lever.
Yep.
Ready? Here we go.
Whoa.
It slides, it tilts. And now you've got this massive runway to the third row. It's so easy with the big wide slide doors.
Oh, am I getting in too?
Yeah, get in.
Okay.
And now let's see what it's like back here. And I'd have to actually slide the seat back. I want to show if this person actually had nice legroom, which they do now.
Wow.
You would still have great legroom in the third row. Look at us.
Still great, but you can't really
What else we got?
Can't really recline the seat.
Oh yeah, so the only way to get a little recline is you slide the seat forward a little bit, and then you pull on this fabric strap. When I get to it, hang on. There we go. And then you've got like an inch of recline.
I guess I am reclined.
Oh, you already were reclined. Yeah, that's what you got.
Oh, you've got your USB-Cs,
Yep.
a cup holder, and vents up top,
Vents.
which is nice.
Yeah, so I think everyone's gonna be happy, especially adults in all 3 rows. You'll have the space. Kids should love this as well, but let's see about car seat installation. Now, with doors that open like this, it is just a walk in the park
So easy.
to bring a car seat in. And where could we put all our car seats in here, Mobile Mama?
Well, you have 4 sets of lower latch anchors, so technically you could do a rear-facing seat on every seat, and then you have 4 tethers.
All right, what's your legroom like in the
Let's
fronts? I mean, we know how this is gonna go. Let's just see. Oh, you are all set.
Give in. Wow.
Let's back at it. Can we just say this? The VW Buzz is...
Aprobado por la familia.
I'll translate. It's family approved.
You love it.
I do. Unfortunately, the kids have been feeling sick, so we haven't had as many family outings as I would have liked. But the few times we have gone out, the kids have absolutely loved the kick sensor underneath the sliding doors, because it's something they can do. They don't have to wait for me to pull up the key fob and open the doors there or press on the handle. And once they're inside, they can also reach this to close the doors. And on their way up, my taller daughter, Talia, can actually reach this rubber handle to help herself in. And in a situation, because this has happened, where I'm already in this seat, buckled up, door closed, ready to go, they haven't closed up that door and they're buckled in now, I can just close that by hitting this button right here. One thing I've yet to discuss is visibility. Now, for design purposes, they wanted the glass to be super far out, like the old bus. I love that. But that meant that they had to give it 2 different pillars here. And I actually don't find it to be a big blind spot. Yes, you've got this one here, but then you've got that little window there to help you see things right at that corner. That's not a big issue. There are other blind spots throughout the vehicle though. This B pillar, C, and D pillar do create some visibility issues. There is blind spot monitoring. You can see it working right now as standard. That does help. The view out the back is okay if the 3rd row headrests are down. You can see the one on this side is down, but the one on that side is up. And if 2 passengers were back there, you couldn't see anything. That's when a digital rear view mirror would really come in handy, but it's not available on the Buzz. One other, if I want to call it, visibility issue, or bother at least while you're driving, is that the sun visor, just fine, nice and tall out the front. If we go to the side here, then it provides protection up until this point. However, if the sun is right here, you'd be like, well, what do I do? Well, you can slide it, great, but you can only slide it this far. So that leaves this gap to my left of, I want to say 5 inches or so, where when the sun is in that position, it's just blinding the left side of your face. That should have just been addressed by lengthening the slider. I don't know why they didn't do that. Now let's talk charging and range. So when I first set out in the Buzz with a full battery, it gave me an estimate of 240 miles. When I went to actually recharge it at my place overnight, it was saying I had about 90 miles of range left, and I had covered 150 miles. So that estimate turned out to be very accurate. As for charging, for most people, you'll just be able to plug in at your level 2 outlet and you'll wake up in the morning at least 8 hours later and you'll have that full charge. But in some circumstances, like a road trip or a particularly long day of driving, you're gonna have to use a public charger. And Volkswagen owns Electrify America, so that might be what you'd want to use because they give you 3 years of free charging. But I always seem to find these charging stations completely packed like they are right now. An alternative has been, in my experience, that when a station was free, it wasn't working. Call customer service, the number shown on the screen, and they reboot it or try some other problem solving, and it doesn't fix the issue. That's happened like 4 or 5 times to me. If you do luck out with a DC fast charger that's available and working, then you can get from 10 to 80% in just 30 minutes. The only potential good news is that in 25, Tesla and its supercharger network is supposed to become available for Volkswagen vehicles. But I'm not waiting for that, or even for one of these chargers. I got plenty of juice. I'm going home. Well, crew, at the beginning of this video, I pondered if this new VW Buzz had the same charm as its ancestor. And after quality time spent behind the wheel, I can say with confidence that this van is retro cool, but with modern touches that make it even more enjoyable to live with. Like the old bus, this new Buzz has tons of utility with a modular cabin that can flex to accommodate any of your hobbies. And yes, that does mean it's still the perfect surfer van. This EV powertrain may not set records for total driving range, but it does make for a chill driving experience and is a whole lot peppier than the old gas and diesel powertrains. There are some persistent beeps and alerts. Without the available sunroof, the cabin can feel kind of dark, and at $70,000 as tested, this is about double the cost of competitor minivans. But you will be the talk of the town. Your kids will love it, and you will never be attached to that minivan stigma. I hope you guys have enjoyed this day in the life, and I will see you again next time. Yeehaw!